Export MX GENIO is the preferred format for exporting data to Bentley MX, previously known as MOS, although these other systems will accept DXF files and LandXML files as well. We enter a file name, and although MX and LSS have fundamental similarities about the way in which they deal with points and links, for example a point is preceded with a P and a link is any other character, there will be subtle differences between the codes that you may have used within LSS and the codes that you've been requested to use by the person requesting the GENIO file. If you have a look at the help documentation, the conversion file link, exactly how a conversion file can be built. It's a text file with the file extension CNV. It contains lines with firstly the LSS code, followed by a comma, and then the code in the GENIO file that you want to convert that LSS code to. And you could list all of the ones that you want. The GENIO file format also requires that spot levels are joined together with what is called a level string. That's not part of the CNV file, it's something that just has to happen and will take place anyway. If there are any points and links within the LSS survey which have no level, that is they are 2D, then they will automatically be exported as a null level point or link. If however you want to override the LSS 3D element to that, at the end of each line representing that particular feature you want to export as null, you put a comma, then the word null. You can also individually exclude particular features by using the exclude command. We would select our conversion file in this manner, and there is a sample conversion file in the test data CNV folder. We give the file a model name and we choose whether to include annotation, contours, stations, the survey, and also if we have a section position file then we can export the position of that as well. Depending on our selected options on this first dialog, we will then be presented with further requests, such as to confirm the scale and the model orientation so that any sheet oriented text can be rotated. Do we want to export general text, and what level of spot level text do we want to export, and whether we want to include point feature text. And because we tick the option to export contours, we're now prompted for the normal contour interval, the prominent contour interval, and a further more prominent contour interval. And if we want to smooth those contours, how smooth do we want them to be? The smaller this conditioning tolerance, the more points will be generated along the contours. That has now generated the GENIO file, and if we return to the command and select edit, we can see the contents of that file. At the top of every LSS generated GENIO file, it will explain that LSS created it, and also it will list the feature codes and also their description from the LSS legend, which means that any third party receiving this file will instantly understand what each feature means. And you will see down here that for every feature and code we're using the minor option 80 GENIO format.